Hello everybody and welcome back to the Galactic Armory. Today we're going to be doing episode 2 of the Boba Fett build series, and in this one I want to cover some of the soft parts, some of the parts that aren't armor necessarily, but are still an important part of the build. So today I'm going to go over where I got the pants, where I got the boots, where I got the boot covers, how I built the belt, and then where I got the parts for the leather belt. All of this was sourced from a few different places, so we're going to be giving those places a shout out because the quality that I got is just amazing from everybody. With all that said, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to cover is the girth belt, because it was definitely the hardest thing to find and source. It wasn't too hard to make, but the supplies for this specific color and braid style of rope is just almost impossible to find. The only source that I know of is from Pet Hardware. They're in like the Czech Republic, and they very quickly sell out of this type of rope whenever it's available. They offer it in a few different sizes. The size that I went with in this video was 16 millimeters because that was the only size that they had available. I'm like, let's just make it, and if more stock opens up of the correct size, we'll do that instead. Now the correct size kind of depends on your build. It would either be 10 millimeter if you have a smaller build, or 12 millimeter if you have a larger build. Now of course with my luck, I finished this entire thing and they open up more stock for the 12 millimeter rope, the rope I was after. So I'm like, fine, let me order. I just finished this thing, but we'll do it again in the correct size. Now this girth belt doesn't go all the way around your waist. There is a bit of a gap, so be sure and leave that in when you cut your rope lengths. And you see me just joining the ends, making sure that the rope isn't frayed with a simple lighter. You could also use like a heat gun or something else, but we want the ends of those ropes to be clean. The number of rope you need also kind of depends on the millimeter of rope that you have. This is 16 millimeters, so I only needed, I think, 7. But when I went down to 12 millimeter, I needed 9 for that same kind of size. So be sure and figure that into the rope that you're buying. I had such a hard time finding rope for this build that when it came back in stock, I wanted to buy a fair amount so I could give some to you guys. So if you're watching this, you guys are going to be the first to know that I have some extra stock on hand of this rope. It'll be the 12 millimeter that I bought that they had in stock, but it's available on my website with the link in the description. Now I'm not selling this for profit. It's being sold at cost. I don't want to scalp any of this material. I know how hard it is to find. I just wanted you guys to have a first shot at it. Like I said, I anticipate this rope to be out of stock very soon. It already is out of stock on the Pet Hardware site, so be sure and check out that link in the description on galacticarmory.net if you want any. Okay, back to the build. With all of our ropes singed and cut, we're going to need to start putting it together. Now joining the rope was pretty simple. I just got like a cheap sewing kit from Walmart, and I'm going to sew the ends of the rope together, just pushing the needle through the ends of the rope, and this should provide a good enough hold for what we're going to do next. I don't want to sew this whole thing. It would take forever, and I'm not a big fan of sewing, but this is going to do a good job at holding it in place. I might hate sewing, but I love E6000, and I'm going to use it on the back side of this belt to hold all the rope in place. Now you want to make sure it's the back side of the rope because we're going to be filling in the cracks between the ropes with a bunch of glue, and you don't want that to be facing outwards. You want to try your best to keep the rope as pinched together tightly as possible while this glue is curing, because it's going to take 24 hours, and you don't want any of that glue to seep through the cracks and make its way to the front of the belt. I started out just doing little drops, but eventually I just filled in the whole crease between the ropes with this glue. After 24 hours, it's got a good hold on the rope and will keep the whole thing together very well. Like I said, the girth belt was pretty easy to put together, so we're going to move on to the leather belt that sits on top of it. And I got this one from Signs Industries. They're the same guys that made the leather for my Mando costume, and they've really just done it again with this set. It's got a full metal belt buckle with a good weight to it. It's got the 4 pouches on it that actually work. You could put stuff in there. I don't know what, but that's up to you. The holster on this thing is amazing. It's got the strap that will go over the backside of it, keep it from falling out. I just need to actually model, make, and print the blaster to go in this thing. But when I do, I know it's going to look great. You can find a link to their Etsy shop in the description. They do amazing work, but they have to put out the products in limited runs just because demand is so high. So be sure and reach out and ask when the next run will be of the Boba Fett kit, and tell him that Galactic Armory sent you. Dan's a great guy, he'll get you sorted out. Now let's move on to the boots and gloves. Now the base of the boots is a Nortiv cold weather boot that I just found on Amazon. Link will be in the description, but you're going to need some more things along with them. Now both of these gloves and the boot covers I got from Crow Props. He, like before, he did the same shoes for my Mando costume, And this guy just does quality work all around, has a great reputation. The gloves come pre-fitted and tailored to you, but they come with the same Velcro on the backside that the Mando did, so that'll be great when we go to attach those hand plates. And the boot covers are pretty interesting. They're meant to work with just about any boot, but they have two straps that go underneath the bottom side and connect with Velcro and hold this boot cover in place. So it looks like you've got, a 18-inch tall boot, but really you just got a low-cut boot and then a leather wrap around it. Now this base boot that I got is a cold weather boot, so it's got like some wool on the inside to keep you warm. Not exactly something you want in a costume that you're already gonna be really warm in. So I might do some modifications to that in the future and just pull some of that wool coating out so it's a little bit more breathable. We'll see. I haven't worn this thing for too long yet, but we'll see how long I can make it while in full costume. So there you go, guys. This episode was more of like a parts list episode than any technique or way to put things together, but I hope it's a useful resource for you guys in the future. Remember about that rope, guys. I'm warning you. If you don't get it soon, you're going to be waiting a while because there's a lot of people waiting for rope on this thing, and I want you guys to get some. I can't wait to show you guys the rest of the armor. It's coming along great. I'm just waiting on more paint, really. But once that comes out, I'll be able to put on all the armor, and it's going to look amazing. So for now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again in the next one.